6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, the To Be Determined Show. We are live, Beyond Ringside Radio Network.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to jump straight into it. Myself, the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast City Layne is here as well. The gentleman we have on the line tonight, our very first guest tonight. Oh, well, we have a loaded show for you. This gentleman right here has done more in the last 4 years than some people have done their entire lives in professional wrestling. This guy right here can start a riot with a fart. This gentleman right here is one of the hardest working men in the business, besides Shane Marks. This guy right here, this ebony monolith, has had some of the best matches that have happened in the last 10 years in the Southeast, bar none, hands down. This gentleman right here is one half, or one-third, how you look at it, of the Blacklist. He is one half of the Usual Suspects, the UIW Tag Team Champions. The man has been a world tag team. You want to talk about some world tag team, like, hey, I'm out of Atlanta. I'm a world champion. No, the fuck you're not. This man right here is a two-time world tag team champion. He is the real deal AJ Steele. AJ, how you doing tonight, sir?
Man, I just want to say that, number one, I got goosebumps sitting here because that is the absolute best introduction that I've ever heard for anything in my life. So I was going to come on your show and be an asshole, but I completely enjoyed that. So therefore, you get to see, for now, because you know I'm bipolar, so shit changes with me. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and I'm doing well. Thank you.
Well, that's all true. I mean, that is fact.
I mean, it is, but sometimes, you know, some people don't acknowledge certain things, and I don't go around looking for it, but it's just good to hear that, hell, I did do a lot. I am one of the hardest working people. That's why I just got out of the bathtub. I took a bubble bath. If anybody laughs at me, I'll be pissed, and I'll probably beat them up. But yeah, I took a bubble bath tonight.
Well, that's quite all right, because I just shared a shower with this gorgeous redhead. So
how does that make you feel about my bubbles? I use my daughter's bubbles in my bathtub tonight.
Oh, what type was it? Was it like Dora? Was it Mr. Bubble?
No, it's a little yellow duck thing. Some little. It's like bubbles in a duck. Yeah.
The rubber ducky.
There you go.
You're the one. Now we're gonna jump straight into it. What the hell has happened to Bobby Moore? I saw the video, as most people did, and the write-up that Bobby did, the little interview where he just completely called you out. Is Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment?
Right. Okay, see, that did it. See, you pushed the button already, and out the door went the bubble bath and the fucking nice guy and all that. Okay. I'm going to give Bobby Moore credit for one thing. Under normal circumstances, like you said, I'm 1/3 member of the Blacklist and 1/2 member of the Usual Suspects, and you know normally we're the ones that hunt and destroy everything in our path. Bobby Moore has a legitimate gripe about one thing. When we all left Rampage's last show, he was the Rampage heavyweight champion. I'll give him credit for that. It took him and Dr. Gayton to get the victory over me. I give him credit for that. But what I'm going to give him the most credit for is having the balls enough to challenge me versus me having to challenge other people. Bobby Moore gets that, and that's it. Because once you leave the fact that he challenged me, now he has to wait. He don't even have to wait because I've already accepted his challenge. But now what he has to deal with is he doesn't know what's getting in the ring with him. I don't think he quite understands exactly just how dangerous I really am. Because, when you turn TV cameras on and you tell me go out and you got a match tonight, who's trying to cut me off?
I don't know who that was.
Somebody say something?
Call in. Man,
somebody say
everywhere.
Something? Okay. As I was saying, you tell me the camera's on, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to beat your ass like nobody else. But when you call me out and you call me a bitch on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, all of the social media, I have no choice. You have literally put me in a corner, Bobby, and I'll give you credit for that. You backed me up in the corner, and now I have to react. And I promise you, the reaction that you're going to get from me is not going to be what you expected. So I don't know whether it's because of the deal that went on at Rampage. It's not my fault that Dr. Gayton decided to close the company. It's not my fault that he felt like that last show that he did was the one that he wanted to close it out with Bobby Moore. That has nothing to do with me. Bobby's hand got raised. No bitching or moaning about that. But now I'm going to take that same hand that's connected to that same arm and rip it off of his body and beat him with it. I might beat his mama with it. Matter of fact, I think you heard Murder say that I was going to eat his kids.
Yeah, we have seen the video that Murder One posted.
I'm sure you did.
I think everybody did. But I mean, where did this come from? Is this just out of the blue? I mean, I know Bobby has been a friend of yours for some time, and he is a hit for hire. Do you think Bobby's off his mind?
I can't. No, let me correct you. I cannot say that Bobby has been a friend of mine because I know Bobby. I know of Bobby. I've seen Bobby in the locker rooms. I've conversated with Bobby a few times about a few different things, but to say that me and Bobby have ever been friends, I cannot say that. And especially, everybody knows the type of man that I am. I ain't never ran from nobody, nor will I start today. So I don't know where Bobby Moore, if he was trying to get my attention with the bitch statement, he got it. He's got it. But where it started from, where it came from, it sounded to me, if you read what he posted, he's not on the show. Bobby, the last time I saw Bobby Moore, he was in College Park, and his promo, he went out and he cut a promo, and you know what he said? The first thing out of his mouth was, I've been sitting at home waiting for my phone to ring. Do you know why you're sitting at home, Bobby, waiting for your phone to ring? Because nobody gives a shit about you. Nobody wants to see you. You're not relevant. And by the fact that you called me out and called me a bitch is the only reason why you're relevant right now. So with all of that being said, you wanted my attention. You have my attention. And I promise you, the attention that you get from me is not what you were looking for.
We have seen you do some dastardly things to heinous people, and some people who, really didn't deserve it in their eyes, but, that's an eye of the beholder. You have so much rage that you've been, Bobby has decided to go after, you have to give, he did go after the king of the jungle. If you want to be the best, go after the best, right?
Absolutely.
Now, Murder One is there. Your tag team partner is there on the very event that this is going to be a part of. Was Bobby Moore not trained by Murder One?
Well, yeah, obviously Bobby Moore really didn't think about what he did because, the main event of the show was supposed to be me and Murder against Chip Day and Jimmy Rave. So since Bobby decided to take it upon himself to call me out and tell me that he wanted a match, Murder called Corey Chavis. So now Corey Chavis is going to come in. So what Bobby doesn't realize is that all three of the Blacklist will be in the building that particular evening. Not that it's going to make a difference because Bobby didn't say anything to Murder. Bobby didn't say anything to Corey. And everybody knows how we work. If you see one of us, 9 times out of 10, the other 2 aren't far behind. And if we're kicking your ass, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see 6 feet versus 2 feet. So, with all of that being said, Bobby, once I'm done with you, what Corey and Murder decide to do, they're grown men, and I would never stop them from interfering in anything. If they chose like they wanted to interfere after I beat you. But see, now, and we're going to also talk about something else too. I think that you saw that it was posted that it's an Atlanta Zoo street fight. So I want to know. I took it upon myself to try to find out what the fucking Atlanta Zoo street fight was.
Do you have to use sign language? Is that what this means?
Bro, I have no idea. But the one thing that I do know is there's no referee. There's no referee in this. There's no referee in this match at all. The only way that you can win is to get your opponent to quit by saying "I quit," or if there's a standing 10 count. If he doesn't make the 10 count, he's done. Or, of course, by knockout or tap out, submission. So, like I said, Bobby does not realize just exactly what he has gotten himself into.
Bobby has been known to, go after larger guys, but, I mean, there has to be something to this. Let me ask you a question. Has Bobby been touched by Quentin Michaels lately? Is that what happened?
Say that again. Has Bobby been what?
Touched by Quentin Michaels lately.
If you know what Bobby does in his personal time sexually has nothing to do with me. Bobby, let me also go on record and say, Bobby Moore is respected by a lot of people for his ability. Bobby Moore does look like a joke. I mean, he really does. Truthfully speaking, he comes out with his little Barney outfit on. He looks like a joke. And to tell Bobby Moore that I'm not going to take him seriously would be stupid. I'm taking him extremely seriously. The bad part about it is he's not going to understand just how serious I'm taking this situation, because I don't take any challenger, anybody that can call me a bitch and think that there's not going to be repercussions to that. I can't take them seriously, because obviously they're missing some screws somewhere. So like I said, I give him credit for that one thing, for calling me out. You want to call me out? I'm going to make it so obvious that you should have picked somebody else to call out if you wanted to be relevant, if you wanted to be talked about, if you wanted to be famous, if you wanted to be on the show. You should have found another way. You should have called and just asked to be booked on the show. Because from what I understand, they tried to book him on the show and he wouldn't answer his phone. I don't see why. It's not like nobody's dying to see Bobby Moore.
Holy shit. I spit my daiquiri all over the place. Thank you.
You drinking and driving?
Oh, you know it. Look at this. I know you. But, we have to drink and, partake a little bit on this show.
Absolutely. I've heard a lot about it, and I'm glad that you guys had me on. Like I said, just the introduction alone was worth me calling in just to hear that. You got me a little hot right now talking about this Bobby Moore situation.
Well, I just had to get that out of the way because we had so many questions about that, because it's fresh on everybody's mind.
Absolutely. But, hey, hell, I had questions of my own self. I wanted to know why he didn't just call and try to get booked on the show instead of getting his career ended, because I'm not going there to beat Bobby Moore. I'm going there to finish Bobby Moore.
Rest in peace, Bobby Moore.
After this match, you may not ever see Bobby Moore again. He'll be just as ghost as Velvet Jones. Wait, did I say that?
Ow.
Sorry about that.
That's quite Velvet's a good guy, but he just got. But for those that don't know, I jumped ahead of myself. I do apologize. I'm a terrible host. How did your career begin? How did the training come about? When did you first want to be a professional wrestler?
First wanted to be a wrestler. I was sitting in front of the TV. I know you've probably heard this story a million times, but it's my story as well. Sitting in front of the TV, flipping through channels. You remember the old cable box that used to be connected to the TV with a wire, and it was like brown, that old school. This is some real throwback shit for you guys. You know, this is telling how old I really am. But it's that old box, and you used to press the buttons and it click. And one day I got on, you know, I'm from New Jersey, so living up north, we didn't have WCW or NWA. We didn't have, you know, the Southern, at the time, the Southern stuff wasn't as big up there. Like TBS at 605, it didn't come on up there. It wasn't until I moved to Georgia. But clicking through channels, I was probably about 3, 4 years old. And I saw the very first wrestling match that I ever saw was Bob Backlund against, he was supposed to be wrestling one of the Moondogs.
Yep. Spot.
And right, Spot. And what happened was they kept switching in and out of the ring, and they was basically kicking Bob Backlund's ass. And the crowd was ridiculous. Like, I remember there being so many people that looked like they were hanging over the guardrails at the ring. And Bob Backlund ran back to the dressing room, and he came out with Hulk Hogan. And it was the first time I'd ever seen Hulk Hogan, and that was it for me. He came in, and he helped Bob Backlund beat the Moondogs, and I have never stopped watching it since. And I don't even remember what year it was, but that was my moment that's it. That's the only thing that I've ever wanted to do in life, and it's the only thing that I've ever said that I was going to do. And from that point on, I was hooked. I've been to 3 WrestleManias live, got ticket stubs to prove it, and I've been a fan ever since.
Real quick, if I may, I believe you're talking either late 80 or early 81, because when the Moondogs were up there, it depended on exactly what stint they were pulling, because at one point it was Rex and King, and another one it was Rex and Spot. The three of them didn't appear at the same time more than one time. And
right.
but Rex and Spot were the ones who were primarily there, and Moondog King stayed down here in the southeastern U.S. during that timeline.
Right.
So if my notes are right, it
I
was
didn't
late
learn
80s.
all of that stuff about, yeah, I mean, and I do remember hearing Spot, because Spot was actually the one that was announced to be in the match against Bob Backlund.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely Spot was in it. And then who was rolling in and out of the ring, I can't necessarily remember, but that was how long ago it was, you know, for me. And I have put wrestling, that's the one constant other than breathing, has been wrestling.
That would be on WWOR Superstation 9 out of New York, if my notes are right.
There you go.
I remember I had both of them. I had all 3 down here.
There you go.
No, I had channel.
Yeah, well, we didn't get for some reason, you know, up north it wasn't WCW and NWA was like, okay, Saturday night's main event would come on at 11 or 12, 11 I think, and then the WCW stuff I found out would come on at like 2 and 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
you know, being from up north, they didn't really they really pushed the WWF over the WCW situation. So
yeah.
I didn't get, like, it's crazy to hear about it now, but like it wasn't until I moved to Georgia when I started finding out about Ric Flair and Sting and Ronnie Garvin and Dusty Rhodes and all of those guys. And then, of course, being so into wrestling, you do your research and you go buy videos, and then you catch up on all of that stuff, which made for some pretty good days after school for me, because I was able to, there was a video store right down the street from my house, and every day I rented, even if I had to scrape up quarters, I would rent wrestling tapes over, and I mean, just every one of them. Anything they had that had anything to do with wrestling, and it wasn't something I hadn't seen, I was renting it.
Yeah, actually, short ending. I'll get out on this one. During that timeline of the '80s, when Backlund was champion for Vince Sr., there was a working arrangements between WWOR out in Channel 9 New York, the Madison Square Garden Network, and Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Because of the fact that Vince was based in that area, they showed him first priority, and they also gave him right of first refusal. It's like they basically said, you're up here, you do business here, you pay us money, and you have for a while. And when the Crockett and the Jones organizations tried to buy airtime up there, they were getting relegated to 3 a.m.
Yep, exactly. That's how it went, and so that's the reason why I never got a chance. You know, as a little kid, I snuck and watched Saturday night's main events when they would come on, or or Wrestling Superstars when it would come on at 11 o'clock. But as a birthday present, because when I was a little kid, I was very good. I'll never forget the first wrestling match that I ever went to. Madison Square Garden, of course. Took the train over to New York, got into subways, jumped on there, go see Madison Square Garden. Very first match, I don't remember the very first match. Tito Santana was in the very first match. I can't remember who he wrestled, but the semi-main event of the night was Wendy Richter against the Fabulous Moolah, and the main event match was Sergeant Slaughter against the Iron Sheik in a boot camp match. Very first show that I've ever went to, and like I said, it was so many. I've never seen more people in my life in one building, and so rowdy. And I never forget, I asked my mom if I could have permission. I saw everybody else sticking their middle fingers up, and I was like, I just got to do this because this is going to make the biggest. I mean, if I can be an adult for 5 seconds, to stick my middle finger up like everybody else was doing. When Iron Sheik came out, I just wanted to do it. And I asked my mom, I was like, can I stick my middle finger up, please? And my mom said, yeah, and I just flipped off Iron Sheik, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So I thank my mom for that. An ironic little story here, too. 2000, year 2000 here in Macon, Georgia, at the Macon Coliseum, I got the opportunity to wrestle the Iron Sheik, the same Iron Sheik who wrestled Sergeant Slaughter in the boot camp match, 2000 Macon Coliseum, and it was awesome.
Now, you are a perfectionist at what you do in the ring. You are part of a great tag team, but you majored originally as one of the biggest baby faces I believe that Georgia has ever seen, and the lower part of Alabama. How hard was it to be, now we're using our big boy hats here, everybody, oh my God, how was it to be such a large black man in the South and be able to get such love as you did? Because I think that's one thing that's missing in this business is, the minorities, I mean, they don't really know how to connect. Nobody knows how to connect with the fans, but especially in the Deep South. How hard was it to win the fans over? Honestly, I've never, and I hope that this doesn't sound arrogant, but I never had a problem with it. When people say that charisma, I in the beginning of my career, I had so much fun. It was just that. Like, I think that people could see on my face that I was having fun, except for, of course, when I was getting my ass beat, I wasn't having fun. But being in front of the people and entertaining them was what I was put on earth to do. And I would have so much fun. I would play jokes, and, I'd mess with the referees, and I'd mess with the timekeepers and the ring announcers, and I'd go out and I'd have a good time, and people were clearly entertained by it. And I don't think that, entertainment, I don't feel like entertainment has a color, if that makes any sense, If you're if somebody tells you a joke, it doesn't matter if it's a black guy or a white guy or a Chinese guy. If the joke is funny, you're going to laugh, right? So that's my concept. I tried to go out and have a good time and have some charisma about myself. And I always used to hear the old timers, they'd say, the people came to see you. They paid to see you. They paid their hard-earned money to see you. So with that being in the back of my mind, as a fan of professional wrestling, as a child watching it and wanting to be entertained just like these fans, like what would I want to see? And being that usually I was one of the bigger guys on the show, I used to get in trouble for it, but I used to always try to do stuff that the other bigger guys wasn't doing. It's probably why my hips and back all hurt now, but that's the reason why I tried to. That's what they say, you got to set yourself apart from everybody else. So with all that being said, I tried to do things that the bigger guys weren't doing, like diving off the top rope. There's a lot of 200 and at the time I wasn't 270 like I am now, but it was like 240. Guys weren't doing front flips off the top rope and stuff like that. And
I didn't have a problem doing it. If I was going to get a reaction out of the crowd, I was going to try to do it, you know? So I never had a problem. And then also my personality is I like to have fun. You know, I know a lot of people don't get to see that now because I'm a lot more pissed off now than I was then. I used to like to go out and have fun, and then certain things happen in the business that kind of turned my attitude towards having fun and made me a lot more serious and made me a lot more violent. So it is what it is. That's just the nature of the beast.
Now, you had one of the best managers that I've seen in some time, the intern, PG3, Princeton Gainey III. How much of your success that you had in the Southeast do you think you attain? And well, we know what you did for his career, but I mean, what was it like to have somebody out there that, you know, like the fans could feed off of? Were you able to feed off each other? Was it just something that, you know, was just thrown together that you just ran with?
No, it was a very unique situation. He was somebody who was up and coming and wanting to do, you know, what we do, and he the guy had a lot of heart, you know, and he really enjoyed and loved the business, and his enthusiasm and charisma, we kind of fed off of each other. And it was kind of strange to see the two of us together because it was like, what are these two doing together? Like, I mean, truthfully speaking, the intern looked like a nerd, and I look like I probably don't have a college degree, but it was fun. I mean, I can't lie. It was a lot of fun, and he was very entertaining as well with some of the stuff that he did, but he was funny because when you finally, you know, he was like a wrestling Urkel. Like, he never got mad, and then when he finally got mad, it was like he would blow up, and I had to actually calm him down a few times, and he tried to jump on. I don't know if you remember Kodiak, how big Kodiak was, and I'd have to talk to the intern and tell him, like, dude, you got to calm down. Like, you're jumping on this guy who's 6 times your size. And he didn't care, and he was like, well, AJ, he's cheating and he's interfering, and every time he would jump on his back, Kodiak would just like flip him off like he was a fly or whatever. But the kid had a lot of heart, and we had a lot of fun with it, and the fans really got into it, and so we just ran that for a while, and of course GCW told me that they didn't want me doing other shows, and so I left. So, you know, you can't tell me, unless you're putting a contract in front of me telling me I can't, you know, I got to sign this contract. That's the only way I'm only going to be exclusive to your show. Anybody, WWE, anybody.
And the GCW you speak of is Great Championship Wrestling out of...
Absolutely. Yes. I'm glad that you made that perfectly clear, because I don't want to mess up anybody's, get nobody confused.
What was your favorite moment of that time?
Of the Great Championship Wrestling days?
Yes, sir.
I believe you already know where I'm going to go with this. I think the best time that I had at Great Championship Wrestling, and probably the best matches that I've had at Great Championship Wrestling, had something to do with yourself and Orion Bishop, by far. I saw a beast, literally, and like from the day that he walked in the locker room, or the day that you guys walked in the locker room together, it was I already knew that this was going to be a painful situation for the both of us. And I think you remember in Columbus at the where we did the show outside, and I was dressed in camouflage with all of the Army guys surrounding the ring, and we fought on the street, literally. And that was probably one of the most brutal, most violent matches that I've had. And then for it to be even as brutal and violent as it was, we still wrestled in the beginning of it. We wrestled. You know, we had a great wrestling match. Two guys at 250 pounds plus, moving around like lightweights, you know, doing stuff that big guys supposedly don't do. And that was by far one of my definitely best matches, one of the better times at GCW. Other than that, working with Crew Jones and Shawn Banks, working with Hot Like Lava, anything dealing with them was always very entertaining because they're both retarded. And, you know, entertaining, it's funny because how am I supposed to keep from laughing at two stupid guys on the other side? I mean, when they do stupid shit, I laugh at it. It's funny. I can't help it. I got a sense of humor. Or at least I had one. I think I sold it.
How did you connect with Murder One?
Wow. There are some pictures that have floated around Facebook, and you know how they have like Throwback Thursdays, and I want to say it was 2004 and I met Murder One. I want to say 2004. It may have been 2003. I'm not good with remembering dates too much, but it was a group called Down by Law, DBL, and it was Murder One, Hollywood, Roger Davis, who's running shows now in College Park. Well, he was running shows in College Park. I don't know if he still is, but Hollywood, Roger Davis, myself. I can't remember. It was another guy's name. I can't remember his name. I don't know if he's still working now or not. I hope he's not listening, because if he is, he's probably pissed at me, but he can't kick my ass now, so it don't matter. But that was when I met Murder, and we formed, you know, it was like Murder and I were destined to do this wrestling thing together, because every time we would once we met each other, we would not talk to each other for a month, and then we'd hook back up, and it was the same thing. Sometimes it would be shows where we didn't even know we were going to be on the same shows, and we wound up being in a tag team together. Or we wound up, you know, him watching my back, me watching his back. Whether it was in the locker room with the promoters who were trying to run out with money, or whether it was in the ring against opponents where we were working, we've always had each other's back. So we got up to years later. We fast forward to Rampage, and we actually fought. We fought each other for the first time. We fought each other, and no, not for the first time, but we fought each other as violently as we did. It was beyond a wrestling match. Like, Murder and I tried to end each other's careers. We tried to beat each other up. We tried to destroy each other, and he couldn't put me out. I couldn't put him out. So, you know, as they say, you know, when you're in Rome, do what the Romans do. So we sat down at a club in the VIP room with a bunch of half-naked women. Some of them were completely naked, and the usual suspects were formed.
What was it like to win your first world title as World Tag Team Champions?
It was very... it was, you know how that you work so hard for so many years for something that actually means something. You know, you have a lot of titles, and I'm not trying to shit on any other title that I've ever had, but you work really hard to make a reputation for yourself in and out of the ring. And when you finally get to that point where you reach that goal to be a champion of something that is actually recognized by more than just the city or the town that you're in, you're a world champion. I believe we were ranked number 9 in the world in PWI magazine.
7 is what it was, actually. I think it was 7.
Actually, you know what? I was going to say, like, I don't remember. I know we started out at 9. I remember seeing 9, and I do remember seeing 7. But I did see 9, so I wasn't going to try to, be a dick and steal 7. But I heard 7 too.
By the way,
say that again.
I said Bishop was the one that pointed out that you guys had went up to 7th. I think you guys may have actually went at that, but I remember him telling me, he's like, these motherfuckers at 7th, our boys. I was like,
right, absolutely. And that was a great time for us. It really put us. We was already making some noise in the southeastern states, but that really put us on the map as a legitimate, force in just not even just the southeastern states, but the United States and anybody else on the globe that wanted to. Dr. Gayton tried to get us booked in Thailand, and we were supposed to go to Japan. And there's a lot of people started making phone calls. A lot of people started dropping the ball, but stuff didn't happen like it was supposed to. But we made some noise when we had those belts, and we wore them proudly. We defended them. I mean, that was probably one. You said it earlier that I was one of the hardest working men in the business. Well, during those months that we had the belt, I've never wrestled more than when we had those belts, and it definitely took a toll on us. But we were really willing to accept all of the challenges, and we did, and we wound up losing the belts to the same team that we won the belts from, which was Dark City Fight Club, which are more of that's the blacklist, all 4 of them. So, it was an honor to work with those guys and to beat them, and then it was also an honor to work with them and lose to them. I would much rather have lost to them than lose, to somebody else. But there were some stand-up guys, and they gave us the opportunity, and we nailed it.
Now we have on the line a man that a dear friend of mine on one of my charges, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock. Clyde, any questions for the real deal AJ Steele?
Yes. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm wonderful this evening. I took a bubble bath.
Yeah, I heard all of that. It sounded lovely.
I took a bubble bath, so I'm good.
Yeah, the rubber ducky soap and all that goodness.
Yes.
Yeah. I do have a question for you. This Bobby Moore guy seems to be really getting on your nerves, man. And I really want to be there. I would actually pay to see that.
Well,
when are y'all going to get together and do this thing?
I believe it's June 22nd.
Yep.
AWE, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, is going to, like I said before, the main event was supposed to be me and Murder against Jimmy Rave and Chip Day.
Yeah.
But since Bobby took it upon himself to, he wanted to get himself put on the show because nobody gives a damn about him. Nobody wants to see him. So he had to do something to make himself relevant, like I said. And you said something that's very true. He got under my skin because I'm normally, like I said, I used to like to have fun. I used to like to go out and entertain people. Now, things are a little different. I'm a little older. I'm a little more pissed off. I'm a whole lot more violent. I'm a lot more bitter about a lot of different things. There's a lot of things that go on in the business that I don't particularly care for. So I go to work, and my job is to destroy people. I want people to fear. You remember the stories of the Road Warriors when guys would show up and they'd see that they were wrestling? Exactly. They would see that they had to wrestle the Road Warriors. Well, that's what I want. I want people to look at the card and see our picture or my picture or Corey's picture or Murder's picture, and then their picture on the other side of it, and I want them to think about, is this the business that they really seriously want to be in? Is their love for the business worth the pain, the suffering that I'm going to give you, or that Murder's going to give you, or that Corey's going to give you? Is the love that you have in your heart for this business worth your career. And Bobby Moore, if you're listening, you need to ask yourself that come June 22nd, because when there's no referee in the ring and there's no one there to stop me, there's no one there to stop you. But the difference between me and you is I have a penis. You don't. I'm a man. You're not. I'm going to show you who the real bitch really is. And you said, Clyde, that you wanted to pay to see this. Hey, I get a free guest pass for everyone. You can have my guest pass. I want you to keep your money in your pocket, because the shit that you see on June 22nd may turn your stomach so much you may not ever want to see another AJ Steele wrestling match again. You may want your money back. The fans may look and say, you know what? We didn't sign up for this. This is beyond violent. You guys ever watch scary movies? You ever watch Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees? You ever watch those types of movies? Well, guess what? Freddy Krueger is Murder One. Jason Voorhees is Corey Chavis. I just so happen to be Michael Myers. Bobby Moore, if you do show up on June 22nd, I may very well chop your fucking head off.
Eddie, what's the address for that?
That is going to be on June 22nd at the Wayman and Bessie Brady Center, 3571 Brenningham Drive in College Park, Georgia. Start time slated to be 6 p.m. Tickets are available through ticketfly.com, believe it or not. Tickets, I do believe, in advanced general admission, $15 a piece. They're going to be $18 at the door. And remember, they're saying that the Ticketfly is saying that doors open at 6 p.m. The poster says start time 6 p.m. So do yourself a favor, get your ticket early and get there early. Because remember, advanced seats $15, at the door $18 for GA.
Now, sir, we haven't even touched on it. We're about to have to take our commercial break. We appreciate your time. Global warfare. Holy shit.
Ooh. Wow. Wow.
What is going to become of Team, quote-unquote, GCW? Underground, whatever.
Global warfare. This is my first global warfare that I've been involved in. It's definitely not my first cage match. And I had a conversation last week with Mad Mutt. Had a conversation with him over another radio show.
Cause and Effect, Thursday nights.
Right. And, it's amazing to me how gutsy guys get when there's two, states in between us, when there's miles in between us. You know what I mean? Mad Dog is real gutsy. He was real tough over the phone, and a lot of people know I'm one of the most humble people in the world until you piss me off. My life has consisted of fighting my entire life. From the time I started training, before I started training to be a professional wrestler, I bounced at nightclubs. So I've been fighting almost more than half of my life. So what Mad Dog and Bobby Moore, not to keep going back and forth, but I know we're talking about the 31st and we're talking about global warfare. What Mad Dog doesn't understand is he said all of these great things about how he respects AJ Steele and he respects what we've done as the Blacklist and he respects this and he respects that. And, to me, that's nothing more than buttering my ass, like kissing my ass to try to get me to not beat you like the mutt that you are. You align yourself with, hell, they can't even trust each other. If you go back and look in the history books, what was the main event for Global Warfare last time? What was the cage match? Who fought who? What was the fight? Do you remember?
It was GCW against Fast Eddie Layne.
No, it was not. It was Team GCW against the Underground. Plain and simple, it was a 6-on-6 elimination cage match, and we're not going to discuss the outcome of that. Let it go.
We'll let it go. We'll let it go.
No, I was telling Wick to let it go because he's going to bring something back up.
I'm not going to bring anything up. The only thing that I'm going to bring up is Micah Taylor is such an asshole and a prima donna, and Mad Mutt, he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Spiral is so confused that he calls himself Spiral. He is completely spiraling out of control. And Xander Stone, is that his name? Yes. Xander Stone?
Yeah, Xander, yes.
Okay. Xander Stone
clown boy
is about to get passed like a kidney stone. Okay? So with all of that being said, that team of those guys who can't trust each other, who are thrown together, Xander Stone, I just made Xander Stone famous by even saying his damn name. Okay? Spiral is probably the most talented person on that team. And guess what? He's going to get his ass whooped too. So with all of that being said, you look across the ring at a unit. You look across the ring at men that respect each other, that got each other's back. We don't worry about who's going to stab ourselves, and ain't nobody's doing any stabbing in a back or turning around, trying to steal or any of that type of stuff. We're not worried about the fans. We're worried about each other. You got me. You got Corey Chavis. You got Frankie Chiazzo. You got Mike Cruz. All four of those names, well-respected names in this business, standing on the other side, like I said, and I'll say it again, a unit. We are not a team. We are a unit. And what happens when you have these three men, Frankie Chiazzo, Mike Cruz, and Corey Chavis, when you add this animal, this beast, and you're putting me inside of a cage, and you're adding those three other elements with this group of guys that are put together, and you're putting them in there, they may beat each other up to get out of the damn cage. They really don't want, they're doing this to save face, dude. They don't want to fight us. They don't want to fight us.
Really?
But if they show up, once again, I'm giving fair warning to the fans of Pell City and GCW. Coming to this show on the 31st, you are going to see, I'm going to push Mad Mutt's face. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to push a guy's head into a cage so hard that one of his eyeballs pop into the guy's beard that's sitting on the third row. I'm going to try to do that on the 31st.
We got to start selling beer there.
If you guys start, okay, I don't give a damn if it's a Yoo-Hoo. You can have a cup of Yoo-Hoo. I don't care. They sell Sprite. If it's a Sprite, we can do Sprite. I don't care.
I'm going to bring
I'm going to push his face through the cage until one of his eyeballs pop out.
Eddie.
Yes.
Give everybody a down for global warfare, please.
Damn it. Hang on a second. Breathe. Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm looking to make sure that the local store sells Yoo-Hoo. That way we're covered on that one. Folks, it is going to be Saturday night, May 31st at the Pell City Civic Center. You got it, in Pell City, Alabama. Doors are going to open at 7 o'clock p.m. Bell time is set for 7:30. In the main event, it is a 4-on-4 elimination cage match. Here's the way it breaks down. 2 teams of 4. 2 men start every 2 minutes. One team will either even things up or have a one-man advantage. That will be determined the night of the show, May 31st at the Pell City Civic Center. Here's the twist. A pinfall or submission can occur as the match progresses. Remember, this comes down to an elimination. It is the last man standing. Tickets are going to be $10 a piece. You can reserve while they are available ringside seating by sending an email to GCW Media. That is GCWmedia@yahoo.com. Once again, that is while they are available. You're going to have the tag team championships defended. The GCW heavyweight champion and the middleweight champion are going to be involved inside this match. But the tag team titles will be on the line, and I do believe our illustrious host and one of our co-hosts, I can't call him guest host, he is co-host now, have a vested interest in this, and I'm sure we're going to catch up with them about that a little bit later. Right now, there are 7 matches on the card. Keep your eyes open on GCWPro.com as well as GCW's social media sites on Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter. They're going to have all the information in the upcoming days. Wick?
AJ, how can everyone get in touch with you for bookings, complaints, concerns?
You
Yeah, you can email me at aj.steele1@yahoo.com. You can also hit me up on Facebook, which is AJ Steele. I'm on Instagram, AJ Steele on Instagram. I don't like giving out my phone number because I get tired of old fat women breathing in my phone on 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Speaking of old fat women, I just wanted to say this real quick. There's one element that you guys forgot that Mad Dog did mention to me the other day, and when he was talking about this cage match on the 31st, and he said, not that this person matters at all, but we got rid of the skank that used to come out with me and Corey, Pandora. I'm sorry, Mandora. Which one is it? Pandora.
Hold on, Mandora? You stole my joke. You stole my joke, motherfucker.
Did I steal your joke?
I was about to tell you. Tell us your best Pandora joke, but keep going, sir.
I can't do it. Okay. Anyway, the skank. We'll get to that. Hold on. The skank is supposed to be with Mad Dog because I saw her out there the last show that I was at. You know, she's out there apologizing and begging and pleading, and I wanted to go and dump her on her head, but Frankie wouldn't let me. So, for some reason, I don't know, but you know, I just want to say that Mandora is not going to be a factor as long as she has a flea bath and a dip before the show. She should be okay to be around the public. That's where you take dogs to get a bath, right? Where they go to the pet store and get a flea bath and a dip. Don't they dip them for fleas and ticks?
Yes.
And get their nose clipped?
Yeah, she needs to go get a flea bath and a dip.
Make sure you have your pet neutered.
Yeah. So it's too late for that.
Do your part to help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered.
Her mom should have had an abortion.
Oh.
Whoa!
Just a bit outside.
That was great. Ladies and gentlemen,
good one.
Still,
Okay.
AJ, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. Anytime you guys want to hear some crazy shit or you want to just know the truth, give me a call.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We appreciate everything.
Thank you.
We're about to take our first break of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. We flew through our first. Thank you to AJ Steele. I think I pissed my pants.
You did.
This is
probably
the Radio Network's own To Be Determined show. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna go get a yoo-hoo.
Yes, it has been a hell of a ride. Buy the ticket, take the ride. I am the Oracle of Almas, the Architect of Intellect, the Wicked Nemesis. This is the To Be Determined show. For those just tuning in, I know I didn't give the proper introduction earlier, but Beyond Ringside Radio's on the Kevin Smith of this Beyond cast, if you want to call it that. He is my producer extraordinaire. He is the host of Beyond Ringside. He is the Magic City Motormouth. Fast Eddie Layne. Eddie, how you doing tonight, sir?
I tried my damnedest to find a yoo-hoo, but I had to settle for a grape knee-high. I hope that sumbitch worked well with vodka. Oh, and by the way, you said that Mad Dog was going to be, or you said that Pandora was going to be at ringside. I didn't know we could have an internet radio app during a wrestling match.
Yeah, I didn't know they were allowing farm animals in the wrestling matches either.
Nah.
And that gentleman is the real deal, AJ Steele. AJ's going to stay with us for a while, thank God. Thank you, AJ, for gracing us with this.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have some fun now.
Now that all the seriousness is out of the way. Now, AJ is very adept in the business, so we will be talking a lot about the business, and that's a double drink. But his first night on as co-host of the To Be Determined show, he is the final solution, the grand design, Clyde Braddock, the heavyweight primate with a Harvard mind. Clyde, how you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, doing great, man. Doing great. Just sitting outside enjoying this cool night air in Georgia.
Now, Clyde, we were talking off air. Global Warfare last year, you were actually there. People may not have seen you. Why?
Well, last year at Global Warfare, I was selling merchandise. And look at me now, Ma.
And this year you're selling merchandise.
Yeah. This year, I have merchandise of my own. So, yeah, suck on that, Batman.
Quick to the
I'm going to break kayfabe for a second. I was talking Murder One at UIW this past Saturday, which we're going to get into. And let me just tell this to everybody. I don't know if this is known. I know we have a lot of workers, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of managers, a lot of valets, a lot of promoters that listen to this show. Thank you all, even to the fans that listen to us. You know, you regular people, you Joe Plumbers. It is okay to wear another independent wrestler's shirt to an event. That's okay. Do not wear fucking TNA or WWE shit.
Oh, God,
For the love of God, you're like a fucking mark. You might as well be smoking a fucking cigarette or blunt out front with a guy with 3 teeth and 14 EBT cards.
Wait a minute, somebody outside the show was smoking a blunt? Where the puff pass, you turkey? I mean, please.
That was probably Murder One that was smoking the blunt.
I've told this story. I'm about to tell the story again. First time I ever met Murder One, PWE, outside of Rome, Georgia. I walk in, Johnny Slaughter, Christopher Damon Taz at the time, Orion Bishop, myself. I walk in, there's 14 people in a chair. Some of them have their metal chairs turned backwards like it's 90210. There's Murder sitting in this locker room, smoking one of the biggest blunts I've ever seen. And I walk in and go, oh, you must be the booker. True story. Now, AJ, you've been in cage matches before.
Yeah.
You said you've never been a part of Global Warfare. What is now? A bunch of us have our stories. What is the best and worst moment you've had in a steel cage so far in your career?
The best moment that I've had in a steel cage was Georgia Championship Wrestling. Like I said, I'm not good with years. I want to say it's 05 maybe. I had the privilege of wrestling in a cage where the captains of the team was Dusty Rhodes was the captain of our team and was actually in the match, and Tully Blanchard was the captain of the opposing team and was actually in the match. That was by far. There was a lot of other guys that were in the matches. It was Sonny Siaki was on our team. Jason Cross was on our team. Bull Buchanan was on the opposing team. David Young, Chris Stevens. I know I'm saying some names for you. They were on the opposing team, and I want to say Damian Steele, who was on my tag team partner at the time. It was all of us against all of them, and that was by far the most memorable cage match that I've ever been in. And best moment in a cage match. The worst moment, I would probably have to say, is I got my head rammed into a cage and I started bleeding, and I bled so hard that I passed out, and blood was just kind of gushing out of my head so hard. I was laying underneath the turnbuckle in the corner, and I literally passed out. And when I woke up, I didn't know where I was. And then I woke up into, what's the guy's name that I was tagging? I was wrestling, what's his damn name? Kimbrough. Kimbrough. What's his name? Big black guy. Mr. Jones. That's his name. I was wrestling him, and he hit my head up against the cage, and I busted my head open. And I passed out, and I woke up, and I didn't know where I was. And when I woke up, he speared me into the bottom of the cage, and I fell out of the bottom. The fencing on the bottom of the cage came open, and it completely ripped my back open on the way out to the floor. And that was by far probably the worst moment of any cage match that I've ever been involved in. Of course, until this 31st, when I push Mad Dog's eye out of the cage and it goes into that cup of yoo-hoo that we were talking about.
Yoo-hoo. Great knee high.
Clyde, have you ever been a part of a steel cage match?
Fuck no.
Score!
I love that answer.
Oh, fraud. Anyway,
yeah.
It's smoking this motherfucker. Eddie.
Yes.
I've been around a lot of cage matches. Your best and worst moment that you've been around in a steel cage match, or have you actually been in a steel cage?
Actually been in one. It was a handicap steel cage match, and I'm the one who took the fall in it, and that son of a bitch hurt. And yes, I actually probably lost about 3/4 of an inch of forehead while being scrubbed against that SOB because somebody pushed in too hard. That just came out wrong, and I am not going to repeat it in any capacity whatsoever. Number two. Worst, but there was one worse moment, and that was the first time that I worked a steel cage when they changed companies to use the steel cage. I was in the middle, my stomach was in the middle of a corporate expansion during that timeline. This is before I actually went through a little bit of downsizing, and I was used to getting in and out of one style of steel cage, and I got into the sumbitch quite easily. Could not get out to save my life. It took me about 30 seconds to worm my way through the ropes and around the cage because they set it up way too taut. And we're not going to talk about global warfare last year. That's a moment best left. Use your favorite phrase, Wick.
Now, my favorite moment in the steel cage
Peach State
was Michael Judas.
Oh.
This was actually, I was outside of it. Michael Judas at NWA Anarchy. It is known as the steel cage match that about killed steel cage matches. Don Matthews, somehow the babyface, most of the time the heels, the babyfaces had a 2-on-1. And Don Matthews was just telling Michael Judas to punch him as hard as he can. And Judas was lighting him up. I'm not managing Judas at the time. I'm ringside. It was that damn clown that they had at the time. Reverend Dan, Jeff Bailey, myself, all the managers were out there. And Bailey had gotten thrown out beforehand, by his own advice, of course. And then Judas looks at me and he's like, "Wicked, tell him to fucking sell." I'm like, "I'm not your manager, but Don Matthews, you might want to fucking sell." The worst was Shane Knowles kicking me, and the fence going so far into my head that it left a piece of metal in it.
Ouch.
Eddie, you were for that.
Yeah, Peach State Wrestling Alliance when they had the War Games.
That's why you do not have a promoter that cannot wrestle. He kicked me so hard, just for no reason. Oh, I still owe him for that. But we're going to break kayfabe. The gig went in my head so deep that Pandora literally tried to climb over the steel cage because she thought it was a shoot. So, the worst moment ever.
Yeah, I think I still have a video of that cage match somewhere in my files.
Oh my God, you just made my day. I think my dick got hard. We were just...
Do not ever again utilize my name and the phrase getting your dick hard. And no.
Man, you ever seen a grown man naked?
You ever seen a movie about gladiators?
You got him heated over there, dude. He's upset.
It's all part of the gimmick. Fuck it. And there's your F-bomb for the week, kids.
Now, with everything going on in business, AJ, you're the one to talk about this. How do you feel about just vacating a title, just handing the title over? Are you a fan of that, or do you think that there should be a match or a tournament to crown a champion?
Yeah, I think that, just handing a title over to somebody is sort of a cheap win. Like, in my opinion, I would much rather. I think you're a lot more respected if you beat a group of people, or hell, even if there was just one match. You know what I mean? If there was a match to determine who the champion was, I'd rather have a tournament or a match to determine who a champion is going to be. Because to me, if you're handed a title, to me that doesn't make you a champion.
Clyde, how do you feel about a title just being handed over to somebody? Do we lose Clyde?
Oh, Clyde.
Oh. No, I can.
Clyde's not there. He's still thinking about the merchandise that he was selling last year.
Yeah. Still pissed about that, by the way. Yeah, how do I feel about handing the title over to somebody? Over my dead body? I'm not doing it. I wouldn't do it. You got to either beat me for it or drug me and take it from me. But yeah, I don't believe in just handing over the title at all.
Eddie, as a commissioner, how do you feel about that?
First off, I think it sucks. If you're forced to vacate a championship because of ramifications from an injury to where it would be suspending belief beyond belief for you to have the belt for 3-6 months without defending it, Dean Ambrose U.S. title, then go ahead and let it go. But see, here's the thing. Properly done, and this is where certain companies can really learn lessons, including the one that's doing it now. If you are forcing your champion to vacate because of surgery and recovery time, you can use that vacation of the title and ensuing, hopefully, tournament, not just a single match, to elevate new talent to that upper echelon level.
Absolutely.
Because if you're just going to put it in one match where it's like, well, guess what? We're going to pick Randy Orton and John Cena to go for that title yet again. Excuse me while I throw up on the dandelions.
Right.
But if you're going to take Randy Orton, John Cena, and two others that are on the verge of coming up to that level and really, truly elevate them, then it works out for the best. The person who had the belt gets a chance to recuperate, make sure they're fully healed, make sure they can still go, and it also gives the promotion a chance to build new top-tier talent.
I agree with that 100%.
A title should never be handed over, even due to injury. I'm sorry to say. I point to this, and I point to this, I point to this. Anytime you just hand over a title, that title loses some value. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
This sport, it is a sport. It is the sport of the gods. Men run, gods wrestle. Plain and simple. If you, for 1 second, think about and we all know it's a work. We all know that titles, some people don't have to have titles to be relevant. But if you want your title to be relevant,
thank you.
You don't just hand it over. Never. There's no sense in it. If you have to have a match with the guy that would be the champion, the guy that had a chance to be, then put a match together. You've got talent on rosters. There's always people ready. As Eddie was saying, as AJ was saying, as Clyde was, it's about making new talent, and it can be that quick. It can be that quick. TNA putting the title on Rhino just out of nowhere was awesome. WWE handing over the title. No, it's not good. On the independents, it's even worse because there's so many men and women hungry, just there,
and that are completely capable. That are completely capable of holding titles and deserving of titles. I totally agree with what y'all are saying.
You know what? I have a novel concept that I know it's been done to a degree. Why not institute? They've got the depth in the talent roster. If they really want to do this and do this right, and this can be used by any company, take your top 20. Take your best 20 people. That way people can't sit back and go, well, that's going to be cannon fodder. Let them go in a battle royal environment. And then when you get down to the final 4, then make it a 4-way elimination match. That way your final match, you have 3 possibilities for a pinfall or submission, and the fans will be able to sit back and say, okay, this isn't just throwing somebody over the top rope. This is actually, they're working an elimination match. It adds a new dimension to it, and if you're putting your major championship on the line like that, it adds more credibility. It's not just the last person to not be thrown over the rope. It's the person who can avoid getting pinned and make it to be the last person to make a pin. What do y'all think of that, Wick?
That's actually a really good idea, but a lot of guys, we all know how hard it is to work a match with one person. You add 3 more to that. I like the top 20, but a lot of promotions, especially the independent promotions, there's not 20 people there at an event at that time. Injuries happen so quick.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't have 20 people on the roster. And you can spread it out and make it over a length of time, and that is good. But we all know, man, people's attention are so small and so short. They forget that unless you keep cramming it down their throat. And that's when commentary comes on, where you're like, last time these guys got together, this and this happened, and this led to this, and it's very hard on the independent to do that. Big scale, yes. Independent, no. Independent, I think you should have a one-night, free-for-all.
Okay,
have guys 2 or 3 times. You got it, but you got to pay them.
Then give me this.
Hold on, time out. If you ask somebody to wrestle twice, you better fucking pay them twice.
Of course.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Now, okay, instead of
Thank God for that.
No, no kidding. What you can do is, since this is a televised product of which we speak, go ahead and have the 20-man, then take it down to the final 4. And granted, there are going to be people who want that finish right then and there. But say the final 4 go to the pay-per-view to have a 4-way elimination match to crown a new champion.
All right.
Granted, you're going to have somebody who's like, let him go. We want to finish. We want a champ tonight. Buy the pay-per-view. Get the network.
That's called marketing.
So, does that sound better? AJ, I'll go to you first on this one.
Yeah, I would definitely go with that, because to me, like, the business is about keeping people coming back. There's going to be people that want to see a finish, but they're going to come back to see that finish. So if you give them everything all in one night, what do we have to look forward to the next time?
Bingo.
So to me, if you end it with the 20-man, and then you set up your last final 4 guys, and they have their match on the next show, the main event of the next show, that's 2 shows that you just nailed right there. In my opinion, I feel like they're going to come back for it.
And Clyde, I'm going to add this to the mix for you. You've got the fatal 4-way. But that 5th person, the last person to be eliminated, will get the first shot at the new champion after the pay-per-view. Let's add that to the mix. What do you think, Clyde?
Well, the fifth person to get eliminated,
The
5th
from the end. You've got the final 4, then you have the final 5. That 5th person, the last one to be eliminated before the final 4 is declared, gets a shot at the title after the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, I think that would be a great idea. That really sounds good. I'm surprised nobody has done that shit yet. When they hear your show, you know that they're gonna fucking steal the shit. That's what they do.
I want 15%.
People do shit on the indies all the time, and then the shit ends up on WWE, and I'm like, well, how did that happen?
Vince, I want 15%, bitch. Wick?
Vince ain't got 15% right now.
Yeah, give him a week. He'll get it back.
Ooh, $350 million lost in one day. Sorry, Vince, that sucks.
He lost
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he lost $350 million faster than I lost 35 hairs on the top of my head. Gone.
Yeah.
The day he signed his his new TV deal with was it NBC Universal he signed it with?
Yes.
Yeah.
$350 million in one day gone.
They'll get it back. You know they're going to get it back when the new when everything kicks in from the new video game agreement, right?
Well, yeah, but you still lost $50 million, you know.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something. In my opinion, I mean, even though we're sitting here talking about $350 million, Vince McMahon is a businessman, and in business, you lose money just as much sometimes as you gain. I mean, everybody is in business to make money, but when you're on the level that he's on, if you go and you ask Bill Gates and all those other rich guys that we know of, I guarantee you that they did something where they lost a whole lot of money. It may not have been $350 million, but Vince McMahon ain't stupid, so he's probably got a backup plan to the backup plan for the backup plan. So I don't see him being too damaged by the situation for long. I mean, he still runs, like he said, there's a video game about to come out. He's got movie studios that are popping movies out every other week. So I don't see him hurting for too long behind it.
We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to discuss global warfare a little bit more because I don't think we gave it its just due, because this has been building for some time. And, you know, the best way... Now, this is what I'm going to say really quick before we take our break. The build-up to this global warfare has been tremendous. It has been very long, very tedious, and very arduous for everyone involved. And this is how you end your game right now. Checkmate, bitch. Right here, the To Be Determined show, Beyond Ringside Radio Network. When we come back, myself, Fast Eddie Layne, AJ Steele, and Clyde Braddock, we're going to discuss that very topic right here. Don't go anywhere. Same bat time, same bat channel. Please, don't go. Global Warfare, May 31st, Hill City Civic Center. AJ, we were talking to you. You are in the main event, sir. You're going to be surrounded by the cage. You are a man that knows a little bit about fighting your way out of situations. Let's take everybody back. I'm not sure the exact date, and you can help me out with this. You and your tag team partner, as my kids call him, Uncle Murder, Murder One, the urban legend Murder One, put Calm Like a Bomb Pandora through a table. Through an oak table. And we've talked about this, and this is straight from the horse's mouth. AJ, we have heard from several people that you and Murder got in an argument of whether or not Pandora would go through that oak table in the ring. Did that happen?
Yes. Yes, it did happen. Let me tell you what it was. Okay. Of course, Murder went in the ring. Murder punched Pandora. Murder punched Nina. So both of them are now down. I flip the apron up and I go get the table, and I see that there's like a brass piece or some type of metal around the outside of the table. And the table is not like the typical tables that we normally use from Home Depot. I don't know what antique store they got this table from, but it's the heaviest table I've ever picked up in my life. Like, I literally had to muscle this table up, and I picked it up and I threw it in the ring. Murder grabbed the other end of it, and I was like, dude, that table is heavy as hell. It's not going to break. So as he's pulling the table in the ring, he was like, yes, it is. So I get in the ring, and we're setting the table up, and we flip it up, to pull the legs out. And the wood is like, dude, it looked like a stack of magazines. It looked like it was probably about 4 magazines thick. I don't know where the hell they got. I don't know who built this table, but yeah, I was like, you sure? I don't think it's gonna break. He's like, yes, it is. It's gonna break. Just set the table up. So we're setting the table up, and I'm, he goes over. I punch Nina, and he punches Pandora, and of course, Pandora's trying to fight back because I guess she thinks she's Superman or whatever. But we set the table up, and I mean, we literally argued about whether or not. Finally, he was like, "It's gonna break. Shut up!" And he grabs her by the throat, and I grab her, and we fucking dump her through the table, and the bitch broke. And when I tell you, that was brutal, and it was probably one of the most fun things that I've ever done in my life. Was putting him through that table. I mean, putting her through that table was pretty fun. I mean, and then he was like, "See, I told you." That's the first thing that came out of his mouth when she went through the table. And if you notice, if anybody watches the video, like you could see the muscles in my shoulder. I gave a little extra oomph right before she went, like before we let her go, to make sure the damn table broke. So he was right. I can't say that. I gotta admit that he won that argument. It's the first time we've ever argued in the ring about anything. But I thought it was pretty awesome that we put her through the table.
About 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later, she was in Pell City, still showing the effects of that brutal assault. The fans have decided that they were going to embrace her because of that. How is it that just you guys putting her in her place, because she did cost you guys the match? How was putting her in her place in the wrong? Can you explain this to me?
Well, like you just said, first of all, I don't know what the hell she sprayed Corey in his eyes with that caused us to lose the tag belts. Number one, I don't know what it was, but she sprayed Corey in the face, and I was going to dump her on her head then, but Corey told me not to. This girl has got more lines than a cat, because every time I've ever tried to put my hands on her, they always stop me. And anybody that knows me knows I don't go around beating on women, but we also all know that Pandora is a hermaphrodite, so therefore she's kind of not really a woman.
Clyde,
so
can you?
Hey, and let me tell you this too, since Corey got locked up because he punched her in the face, he punched her in the mouth or something like that. He might have smacked her around a little bit. But the point is that she was running her mouth because she don't know when to shut up. And Corey chipped her up a little bit, and, he got arrested. And, of course, we got him out after the show was over. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes people need to be put in their place, and she got put in her place. And matter of fact, we realized we didn't even need her around anymore. She was more of a pain in the ass than she was a help. So she's no longer with us. And Mad Dog, as far as I'm concerned, they sort of belong to each other. But they should probably change their names. They should probably call Pandora Mad Dog and call Mad Dog Bitch. So they're both one and the same.
Clyde, how do you feel about a woman being put in her place in professional wrestling?
Well, I mean, I do respect women as well, but if you get in the ring with me, I mean, it's the same thing. Like whenever I was wrestling in high school and a little bit in college, if I ever, because I seen girls wrestling guys and getting beat by them. Like there was a girl that in Georgia that got third place in the state. It was in single A, which nobody gives a shit about, but she still got third place in state. But I'm just gonna let you know that I'll be damned if a girl whoops me. I'll be damned. It ain't happening. And if you give me shit, especially in that ring, I don't give a shit. I mean, you want to step in there and be in front of me like a man, then I'm gonna treat you like one. I mean, whenever I was bouncing too, there was some big ass lesbian women that I couldn't even tell that was women until they started screaming like a bitch. I mean, so I treat everybody the same if they want to try me up.
Well, I don't know if you ever heard Paul Lee scream. I mean, he sounds like a bitch.
Hey, so let me clarify something. One thing too. The one thing that I want to say is, before this whole situation happened with Pandora, excuse me, she took it upon herself to cut a promo and say that she was one of the guys.
Like
so when
Pepper?
you take it upon yourself to say publicly that you're one of the guys, how is it wrong for us to treat you like we treat one of the guys?
But she cut the... Oh, time out. Breaking kayfabe for a second. She put up a video saying she was one of the guys.
She cut a promo at a live event when she was telling the fans that she was like one of the guys when it came to whatever. I don't care if a woman says that she's like one of the guys. I don't go around beating up women. I've never put my hands. I don't do domestic, violence and stuff like that. But wrestling is physical, men and for women. There are women out there who have trained just as hard as we have as men, trying to get into this. They love this business. They get into this business. I even respect some of the ones that are here that are doing it. And I'll give Pandora her due. Not a lot of bitches can get put through a table and still be around. So let me give her credit for that. We put her through a table, and 2 weeks later she was back wrestling, and I give her credit for that. So she's a tough chick for that. But you got to understand, when you put yourself in a man's place, my mom always told me as a kid, if a woman puts herself in a man's place and she physically puts her hands on you, and she's prepared for the repercussions of what she did. If she ain't, she should be.
Eddie, your thoughts on this?
It's a very, very tricky realm. I am a person who classifies and quantifies himself as a gentleman to the nth degree. But there is a point in time where if a line is crossed, it stays crossed. And when you venture into certain realms, there is no going back. And I'm having a difficult time putting the words in proper place because I don't want to come across... that there's a difference between my character and my real life. And there's not much of a difference, but there is a little bit of a difference. And I'm just sitting back saying, if somebody wants to interject themselves as far as the way they portray themselves, and if they, I'm always apprehensive anyway. So I'm just going to leave it like this. When you cross a line and enter into a different realm, you have a hard time getting that express lane out of there. I'm going to leave it at that.
Wicked. Let me ask you this, Wicked.
Yes, sir.
How many matches have you seen Pandora wrestle men? Several, right?
Oh my God, hundreds.
Okay. Let me ask you this, though. Out of all of those hundreds of guys that you've seen her wrestle, she's got a pretty good win-loss record against some of them, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm going to follow you. You're going to see where I'm going with this in a second. Out of all of those matches that she's had against those guys, and she's got a pretty good win-loss record, out of those guys, how many of those guys were the size of me or Murder One?
Well, if we're breaking kayfabe, she did wrestle. Steve Platinum had a monster that was Grotesque, was its name, and the guy under that mask was almost your size, and she beat it twice. Karma is bigger than you, or as big as you are, and she beat Karma.
Explain to me why anybody has a problem with this woman who has wrestled men on several occasions and won, why is it a problem that we put her through a table?
Okay, I can take that part, because inside the ring there is one set of rules. If it's not a sanctioned match, that's an entirely different animal. But that's just me as the commissioner talking.
Okay, now I'm going to say something. She got what she deserved. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you all of this. I have managed Pandora in probably a 1,000 matches. No shit. I have seen her get her fucking ass kicked, and I've seen her kick some ass. That is probably the toughest fucking woman I've ever met before in my life, hands down. That is the God's honest truth. I've seen her get her ear damn near ripped off. I've seen her get her nose broke, her jaw broke, both eyes blacked. She will give as much as she receives. I'm telling you right now, never underestimate that skinny fucking New York Jew. I'm telling you right now. She put herself in a position that she knew. She is fucking smart enough to know that when she fucking put herself in a position against Murder One and AJ Steele, she knew right then and there that if she didn't fucking fight for her life, she knew she may die in that ring. That's the God's honest truth. When you wrestle AJ and you wrestle Murder, even as a man, you take your fucking life at risk. I'm going to tell you right now. AJ Murder will bash your fucking brains in. Clyde Braddock and Chris Knox will fucking stretch your ass and fucking break about 15 fucking bones. Murder One, but they'll leave you alive. They're like Batman. They don't have to save you, but they don't have to kill you. Murder One and AJ Steele are the goddamn jokers. They will fucking kill you right then and there. They will not hesitate to kill somebody. You know why? Because it's fucking professional wrestling. You know.
And that, once again, is nothing more than the truth. But, Commissioner, I know you're listening, and I heard what you said.
That's me.
My question to you is,
yes,
would you like to go through a table? Because I kind of don't really like the tone that you had in your voice when you said what you said about us putting her through a table. I don't give a damn whether it was before the show, after the show, the middle of the show, during the match, after the match, during the intermission while people are buying popcorn. If you stick your nose in our business, then we handle our business. So if you don't like what we did, because it sounds a little bit like you have a problem with what I did, if you have a problem with what I did, then I can come see you.
Well, first off, I'm not a big fan of me going through a table at any particular point in time unless there's crab legs on the other side of that table. Then I will eat my way through that sumbitch to get to them. Number two,
okay.
I hope you don't forget. For as much as I respect and understand, that's a 7-letter word, respect, you and the rest of the foundation of professional wrestling, Francisco Chiazzo, the King of Florida, Mike Cruz, yourself, the Soul Assassin Corey Chavis. I'm not afraid of any one of you. The pen is mightier than the sword on any given day. How you handle your business inside the... Just like I'm not afraid of Micah Taylor, Spiral, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, or Xander Stone. I respect all 8 of you, especially for what you're about to do on Saturday night, May 31st in Pelham, Alabama, at the Pell City Civic Center in Pell City, Alabama.
You sound like you're getting a little baffled there, buddy. You all right?
Oh, I'm perfectly fine.
For now.
Oh, trust me. If you can... Nah, I ain't even going to lay that one out there. I was about to say, if you can figure out a way to hurt me that hadn't already been done, whether it be physically, emotionally, spiritually, or financially, I'll give you a damn $1. I'm not a badass by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't understand the word fear. But from that...
You ain't got to understand it.
I'm so glad you said that. But see... Now, go ahead, Wick.
We're speaking about somebody getting in your way, no matter who it was. Saturday Night UIW. What happened when you guys went back into the audience? Because the fans were following you guys the entire way into the tunnel.
I mean, like I said before, you know, we go there to prove a point. And the point is, we're not afraid of anybody, man, woman, or child. And there was a bunch of kids yelling out stuff and trying to get our attention, so we gave it to them. They thought that we left, but we didn't. We do what we want to do on any show. There's been shows that, in the first match of the night, we decided that we wanted to go out and cut a promo. Whoever's in the ring, from the ring announcer to the referee to the guys or girls that are wrestling, either you're going to leave or we're going to throw you out. We do what we want when we want, and however we want, at whoever is in front of us is a casualty. It doesn't matter. Even a commissioner.
Now, Clyde, I know that our time is running thin, so I have to throw this out there. What do you have to say to the 5-Star Fight Club as we go after our GCW Tag Team Championships that were so wrongly taken from us?
Well, you did say on Facebook that there would be mature language used on this episode, and so I'm taking out my aggression tonight on shit that I see wrong. But what I got to say to the 5-Star Fight Club, I mean, guys, you know what? I give you respect. You're the tag team champions, but you're the tag team champions. I don't really understand why. I mean, you know, that's beyond my control sometimes. But I will say this: fuck you. Okay, you're gonna get the worst beating of your life at Global Warfare. And I will see to it that it does happen. O'Hagan got his head busted open when he took me on one-on-one.
True.
I'll bust both of them open. You know, and not to mention Knox is going to be there. So you're there. It's going to be the worst beating that they've ever had in their life, and I hope that they're ready for it. And I really want them to get pissed off, because I want them to have some kind of effort put into this. You know, freaking kick me as hard as you want to. What's it really going to do? It takes a lot of swings to chop down an oak tree. And I'm really ready for the match, but I almost am scared of what I'm going to do to them, because I mean, the belts, although I would love to have the belts, they're secondary. It's done got personal. You took the belts from us, you fucking cheaters. Anyway, well, whatever. Okay, you took the belts from us, and that's personal.
Now,
and I just hope you're ready for the beating that you're going to get.
now, Eddie, really quick, sir.
You know, that seems to be a concurrent theme running through Global Warfare 4, Saturday night, May 31st, Pell City Civic Center. It's personal. You've got Dylan Cook, a kid with unlimited potential, going one-on-one with the Wild Thing Will Owens. This is personal. You've got Trevor Eon, the man who brings the doom, taking on Joey Lightning. Everybody who's been to GCW and followed Global Championship Wrestling, you know this is personal. The 5-Star Fight Clubs taking on the Unlucky Charms. GCW Tag Team Championships on the line. This has gone way past the gold. This has gone way into personal realm. Tommy Pinarelli taking on Scotty Blaze. Match just recently signed and now being announced. This is going to be a match that everybody's going to want to watch. Scotty Blaze is back on a personal mission inside that ring, and Pinarelli is making it his personal mission to establish himself as a true force. And that 4-on-4 elimination cage match between New York's finest, the foundation of professional wrestling, taking on combined forces of GCW and the Underground. This ain't professional. This is personal. Mark your calendars and make your plans. Saturday night, May 31st, Pell City Civic Center. Remember, in any war, there are casualties. May 31st will be no different. Somebody is going to get hurt.
Now, here's my chance to say what I want to say. Mature warning. I know that the upper echelon, I know the powers that be, quote unquote, that run GCW listen to this show. I am telling you right now, 5-Star Fight Club, Joshua O'Hagan, Showtime, Shane Fox. Showtime has been favoring this ankle or whatever for so long. The excuses have got to stop. I'm challenging the steel cage is there. Put that fucking steel cage up and let these two motherfuckers rip them apart. I'm so tired of Josh, little skinny ass, breakdancing, doing that stupid shit he does. Is he a good wrestler? Yes. Is he a great wrestler? No. There's nobody on that fucking roster that can fucking do the mat work that Clyde Braddock and Chris Knox can do. I don't give a shit. You can fucking throw ever how many years you have in the business. You can throw whatever you want to the business. When it comes to professional wrestling, there's that word wrestling. Nobody on that fucking roster. That's no disrespect to you, AJ. That's no disrespect to Corey. That's no disrespect to anybody on that roster, but especially you two. Those two motherfuckers right there fucking do old school fucking work. You put that steel cage up, Showtime Shane Fox, you cannot run. Joshua O'Hagan, you know you cannot run. The only reason that steel cage is not put up is because of one reason. Because they know you put Clyde Braddock, Chris Knox in a steel cage anywhere. You have to remember one thing. You're not in there just to be in there. You're in there to win. They're not in there with you. You're in there with them. And that's a very, very scary thought. And I'm telling you right now, the way those titles changed hands was disgraceful. It was disrespectful. And I'm telling you right fucking now. Teddy Tutwiler, good guy, great guy, one hell of a tag team. He is not the fucking manager I am. And I'm telling you right now, I want those titles back for one reason. For one reason. Do we need the titles to be relevant? Fuck no. We push more merchandise as a heel tag team than most fucking baby faces outside of J-Rod do in the Southeast, bar fucking none. And believe that shit. Now, right now, what's going to happen May 31st is going to be on the hands of GCW Upper Echelon. Because when Joshua O'Hagan can't breakdance and kiss his baby daughter, girlfriend, Fanny Packer, and when he cannot walk
the third member of the Blackjacks, Bucktooth Mulligan. That's who the fuck that is.
I thought you were talking about strawberry shortcake.
She better hope and pray. I'm telling you right now. Just right fucking now. She better hope and pray that we leave even an inch for her to mourn over. She cried when Josh bled. I'm telling you right now. You put that steel cage up. AJ's talking about eyeballs flying out. I'm telling you right now. Careers will be ended in there. Showtime Shane Fox, I know you have a great job outside of wrestling. You might want to stay there come the 31st. Because I'm telling you right now, Clyde Braddock, the Grand Design, the Final Solution, Clyde Braddock, has been disrespected too long. When he sat at that merch table last year was terrible. That was absolutely horrible. It shouldn't have happened. We all know it shouldn't have happened. But let me tell you something. May 31st, he will be there. Chris Knox, training for an MMA fight in June. You don't think that guy's ready? You put on those boxing gloves, those mittens that they hit, and you let him hit you with the left cross. You'll do exactly what I did. You'll take him off and you'll say, "Fuck you, Chris. Fuck you. We're not friends anymore. We're not friends anymore." That motherfucker right there. Let me tell you something. Tasha kids around about poking a bear. You know what? She's right. She's right. AJ Steele is a great guy. AJ Steele is a great human being. AJ Steele is a humble guy till you piss him off. Chris Knox, deep down inside, is not a nice guy. He is not a good guy. He is goddamn evil. He is what professional wrestling used to be. He is that gap. Clyde Braddock is that gap of old school, bust you in your fucking face, make you pray to God you don't ever wrestle them again. You see AJ, you see Murder, two big black motherfuckers. Oh, they're scary as fuck. You talk about not being feared, man, fuck you. I don't give a shit what you said. I bounced for 7 years before I ever got into professional wrestling. I've been wrestling 8 years, thank God. But I'm telling you right fucking now, those two motherfuckers, you let them fucking put that. And you add Corey Chavis to that big motherfucker, that motherfucker there has had world titles. He held world titles so fucking long they forgot they had them and they didn't make him defend them for like a year. Fuck you, NWA. Suck my fucking 8.5-inch dick. Those motherfuckers right there, Corey Chavis was the most disrespected world champion of all time besides Chance Prophet. Those two motherfuckers right there were disrespected. AJ and Murder, two scary motherfuckers. Clyde Braddock and Chris Knox, two real wrestlers. Two real fucking wrestling gods right there in front of you. LXW and all that stupid shit that goes on in Alabama is nothing. There's one fucking promotion in Alabama that fucking does any kind of business. And I'm glad the Athletic Commission is going to be there. And you know what? I have my own fucking personal nurse sitting right here. This fucking redhead fucking sitting there butt naked for the last 2 hours. Yay. Let me fucking tell you something. You better fucking hope and pray to fucking God the Athletic Commission comes over there. Because if you only have 2 minutes to stop, you better fucking pray to whatever deity. It doesn't have to be God. I know Trevor's Satanist and agnostic, whatever the fuck he wants to be this week. Whatever you pray, it's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. Clyde's talking about personal. This is personal. It's spiritual. It's in a whole nother matrix of existence. May 31st, those coaches got their fucking asses smashed last Saturday at UIW. That's nothing compared to what's going to happen to Josh and Showtime. It's going to be bad.
It's great. It's great to me for a fucking professional wrestler who they look at as being fake and wanting to say all that shit. But I can out wrestle their fucking wrestling coach. Fuck them.
There you go.
The fucking people. God Almighty. I embarrassed their wrestling coach so bad that he looked like a beat down dog at the end of the match. He looked like a beat down dog at the end of the match. And he said it was his idea. He was like, let's go out there and do some collegiate wrestling. I said, okay. I've told you my background. I've told you that I trained under Nate Carr, who was a bronze medalist in the Olympics, and I've also trained under Bruce Baumgartner, who won 4 medals in the Olympics. He's a 4-time medalist at the Olympics. I mean, some of the best wrestlers around. Jamil Byers, world champ. And, I mean, just, you want to get in there and wrestle with me? Why? What's your reason? For me to make you look bad? Because that's what happened.
AJ.
And I hope he listens to this shit, because you know what? I'll come and give his wrestlers some actual wrestling lessons for him.
AJ.
Because the team that I helped coach went to region and won their region the first time that they had ever done it. So there you go.
AJ.
He He lost it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Fuck you, 5-Star Fight Club. I'm telling you guys right now, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be real fucking bad. This is personal, for real. This is like for real.
Honest and for true.
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard somebody call my name like 3 times.
Actually, Wick started to, but I'm going to cut him off for a hot second. There's something I want to say. I have said this in public, and I've said this in the boardroom. May 31st, I want everyone to understand something. In this elimination cage match, you brought it up earlier, and it's been brought up on this network on previous occasions. Last year, Global Warfare, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer as part of Team GCW, Micah Taylor Spiral and Xander Stone as part of the Underground in an elimination cage match. This year, Xander Stone, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, Micah Taylor and Spiral are on the same team. And I'm saying this hopefully to deliver a wake-up call to everybody, especially my longtime colleague, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. AJ Steele, formerly one half of World Tag Team Championship combinations, decorated to the nth degree, well respected. The Soul Assassin, Corey Chavis, one half. Tag Team Championship combinations, World Tag Team Championship combinations. Very well decorated, very well respected. Mike Cruz, a person who has been busting his ass, collecting gold along the way to establish his reputation as one of the best. And the King of Florida, Francisco Chiazzo, well known in a number of different organizations, has built a solid rep. Respected. Chiazzo and Cruz have teamed together before. Steele and Chavis have teamed together before. The foundation comes across and is presented as a cohesive unit. When is the last time Xander Stone teamed up with Spiral, Sawyer, or Micah? When is the last time Sawyer teamed up with Xander, Spiral, or Micah? I know when Spiral and Micah teamed up. I know when Sawyer and Micah teamed up. But they're not that much of a cohesive unit. They've been fighting in singles battles. New York's finest, the foundation of professional wrestling, has been working as a unit. Now, maybe something's going on that even I don't know about, which is perfectly fine with me. But understand the basic concept. It's just over a week away. And if Team GCW Underground combine forces when worlds collide, if they want to have a snowball's chance in hell of succeeding inside this match, they need to understand the concept of teamwork from start to finish, up one side and down the other. Or this could be a very bad night for Global Championship Wrestling. And it could be a banner night for the foundation of professional wrestling. Wick?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the To Be Determined show. Thank you, AJ, for coming on and staying on a little extra long for us. Okay, really long for us. I do appreciate it, sir. Upcoming events. Clyde, thank you for coming on.
Oh, well, thank you guys. Wow.
That was awesome. That was like a jumble right there.
Yeah, it was a jumble. It was me and AJ both talking. Yeah, but thanks for having me on, guys. Seriously, I got to vent a little bit tonight. And I want to give a holler to my buddy Brian. I know he's been listening for a long time, and he really enjoys the show. So, what up, Brian? I want to talk to Samson. So.
Hey, real quick, Wick, before you sign off, I want to remind everybody tomorrow night, Thursday night, Cause and Effect present the Thursday Night Radio Throwdown, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Central, Beyond Ringside Saturday Showcase. Sunday night, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, Beyond Ringside Live. Also, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, WrestleRage with Smart Rage and Stan. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all upcoming show information as well as the social networks. Daryl B., Hinton 1, Sudbury Boy, to everybody coming through the chat room tonight, thank you for hanging out with us here on the To Be Determined show. Wick, back to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next Wednesday we have I Am Fatality and the Wrestling Prophet, Reverend Toby Thunder. AJ, last word, sir.
Hey, to the people in Pell City, like I said, come at your own risk, because the gentleman said it best. This is beyond professional. This is truly personal. And I'm trying to figure out just how much more violent I can possibly be as a human being. So if you like violence, come check it out.
Clyde, last words.
Just 5-Star Fight Club. Showtime, Shane Fox, and Joshua Hagan. All right, this is my best advice for you. Hagan, on the 31st, go get you something to eat, because you look like you need to eat. And then Showtime, go run a fucking mile, because you look like you need to stop eating. You've gained 20 pounds since you hurt your ankle. So, it's best for you just not to even come to the show, okay? Because if you do come to the show, my hand and Chris Knox's hand is going to be forced to make you remember it for the rest of your life, and possibly in your career. I might just break that ankle off, Shane, and then throw it to Peanut as a souvenir.
Yeah, card. Onion head.
Eddie, last words.
Onion head. Okay. I'm going to put this world in proper perspective. First off, drop over to FastEddieLane.com. Please keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all my friends down at Buffalo Wild Wings in Alabaster. I'll see you on Friday night, 9 p.m. I want you to mark your calendars and make your plans for Saturday night, May 31st. For one simple reason. Global Championship Wrestling at the Pell City Civic Center. If you are a wrestling fan and you come to this show, we're going to remind you why you're a wrestling fan, because that is what you're going to see. Professional wrestling action at its finest. If you're a fan of WWE, if you're a fan of TNA, if you're a fan even of Ring of Honor, which I have a world of respect for ROH, we will make you a wrestling fan on May 31st. Guaranteed. Wick?
Thank you all for listening. Thank you for those that will be watching this on YouTube, etc. Eddie found the footage from War Games, so yay, PWA.
Yeah, your dick is hard.
Oh, yeah, rock hard. Thank you all. We appreciate it. Next week, the Cosmic Killer Clown, I Am Fatality, and the Wrestling Prophet, Toby Thunder, are our guests. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you all, and good night.
Bye-bye.
Sleep.